So we're at the U Garden. And this is a bit of an oasis in the busy hustle-bustle Shanghai city. That's wicked. And it flies off into the distance, never to be seen again.
Now, bad boy, are you ready for the bass? My DJ, yo, get on the case. Sit, rinse out, get down. Using the mic with a wicked sound. Wicked sound. Wicked sound. Get hyper.
So this is our goodbye to China. We spent 5 days in Beijing, 3 days in Xi'an and 3 days in Shanghai. Had a very nice time, people are very friendly, good food, nice weather. Xi'an rained quite a bit, but apart from that it's been great weather. So overall we've had a very good experience and good memories of China. Next stop is going to be South Korea and then on to Japan, finishing up with Hong Kong before we come back to London. We're in Seoul in South Korea. First of all I want to apologise for the lack of videos, but it's just been a really busy couple of days in Shanghai and hopefully we can get back on track from now. South Korea, and obviously South Korea is known to be home to Samsung and LG, but we've just spotted someone who's shown us the brand new iPhone. So there was rumoured to have a
bigger screen,
and we've just had a play with it, and it's actually a lot bigger than I was expecting.
Yeah, a lot more responsive as well.
So this was the new iPhone that we've got. It's obviously got the fingerprint scanner here, the larger display, like I said, much more responsive. He's obviously turned it off now to save the battery. Hello. Hello. ¿Cómo está? Bien. Oji. Whatever. He's a safe guy. Here we are at Gyeongbokgung, one of the former palaces in South Korea in Seoul. So there's almost like a guard, a set of guards here, and these guys change every hour, so we'll try and get a glimpse of that. Like it's everybody's priority.
To take pictures.
To take pictures.
They don't know that.
And not to enjoy the view. Everyone seems to be rushing to get their video phones and camera phones.
And tablets.
And tablets. And no one really wants to take in the nice architecture. Imagine is for Seoul to be quite so diverse. You've got city blocks and high-rise buildings on that side, and we're inside the palace area where you've got this sort of lovely Korean-style building and a few other buildings like it. And if you look into the distance, you can see one of the mountains in the region. So the city seems to have a good mix of history and culture, as well as landscapes, and quite a modern, high-tech city as well. I have no idea what that noise is, but it's so loud. It's kind of like a cricket on steroids. So we're just strolling down Insadong, which happens to be one of the art and cultural areas in South Korea. A lot of arts and handicraft shops in this area. Quite possibly the scariest thing I've ever seen. So I'm in the underground station in South Korea, one of the Seoul underground stations, and you can see that there's a lot of beautiful artwork lining just one of the areas where people are waiting for the trains. And it's sad that I reckon in the UK, if you had such beautiful artwork, then someone would definitely graffiti over that. But as you can see, it's all very pristine and there's no security guards, and people are just walking up to it and admiring it. So we're just at one of the underground stations, and they've kind of got an art exhibit of Money of the World just below the ticket barriers. And again, there doesn't seem to be any sort of security guard or anything like that there. And that's down to the trains. The other thing is that in China and South Korea, they've always got the next station up. So whenever you come down to an underground station and you're not sure whether to turn left to go northbound or turn right to go southbound, you're a little bit confused, there'll always be a sign like this that says exactly where you are and your next station in this direction will be this, which is quite helpful. And they've also got a lot of advertising in South Korea, lots and lots of pictures and boards. So we're at the War Memorial of Korea, a very highly rated attraction according to TripAdvisor. Let's wait and see what it's all about. Got some tanks and aeroplanes, real ones there. And obviously the UN had a strong presence in the Korean War, so all the flags there. So these are real tanks and planes that were used in the Korean War, not replicas. So this is our new room in South Korea in Seoul. I wanted to demonstrate how much the South Koreans have embraced technology in such a small room. So the first thing is actually you've got these, you've got a light sensor, just that the light came on there. You've got two buttons, one is a do not disturb and one is make my room, so you no longer have that little card that you stick on the back of the door. The next thing I want to show you is that they've got these touch lamps, obviously quite old technology, but nice to see them in a hotel room. You just touch the metal bit, it gets brighter and then it goes off. The lamp is quite nice. It's a touch screen lamp made by Diasonic. Well, not touch screen, but like a touch lamp. You just touch this, where am I pressing it? There. And it's just come on there. And then I touch it to go off, touch it to come back on. And like a volume type thing, I can tone it down or make it more brighter. And this bit here doesn't actually get hot at all, which is quite nice. So I've been banging on for ages about this, that if you press the lift button, well, hold on, I need to touch my card, then press 14, and if you press it again, it cancels. Can you believe it? This is how far ahead of the pocket Wi-Fi that we've been given. As you can see, it's no bigger than an old style cassette. Not very thick, quite light. Just a little charging port there. And apart from that, it works a treat with 4G speeds. So I'm actually sat on the toilet seat, and before you jump to the conclusion that what kind of bear Shedham takes videos while on the toilet, the reason I brought you here is to show you the best piece of technology that I've seen in Seoul, and that's this thing over here. The purpose of this device here is to replace this device here. So let's take a closer look at what this does. So this is called the SmartLet, and it's made by a company called Daylin Bath. And that's what it looks like. It's like a smart toilet. It's got a pressure sensor, so let me try and focus that. It's got a pressure sensor, so as soon as you sit down it beeps, and then obviously you do what you have to do, and then once you're done you look up here. So you've got different settings. So the first setting that I want to tell you about is the seat temperature. So you can choose between having a high, medium or low. So I usually stick to medium, and that's quite cozy. So then the next setting is obviously what you want to do next. So let's say you want to do a spray, and what will happen is that this thing will come out. See that thing there? So that thing comes out, and it's going to go back in because it's not really we've not really put it on the right setting. But that thing comes out, and that's the thing that sprays your water. So you've got two settings for water. You've got spray and you've got bidet. Spray is for people who don't want to use their hands at all, and that is a really powerful jet. You can change the pressure here. This is probably about, it tickles, and that one is like, okay, it's really coming quite hard. And you've got here the nozzle. So obviously if you're a big person or a small person, you may want this thing to be angling more upwards, or if I do it this way, like this way or that way, or do you see what I mean? So it's kind of like a vertical rotation, that nozzle. Water temperature you can pick between 3. Middle one sounds about right most of the time. I think hot would be a little bit too hot. And like I said before, the pressure you can choose to go up. And this is if you really don't want to use your hands and just sort of use the force of the water. Bidet is probably your typical setting. It has a nice gentle stream of water. Same as before, you can adjust the nozzle, adjust the water temperature here, and adjust the pressure as well there. And the presumption is with that one you're going to be using your hands as well. And the last one is the dry function, which is like a weak hand dryer. It's not like our Dyson Airblade that within 10 seconds you're going to be dry, but it's kind of like a gentle fan of warm air. And lastly, you've got a light flush and a sort of a much more powerful flush. But I've noticed that when you stand up, the pressure sensor recognizes that you've stood up, and it automatically flushes on your behalf. So it's pretty good, and I think some of the more advanced models, because we went to a shop and actually saw some of these as well, some of the advanced models also have a little exhaust fan to remove any smell. Not that any one of you has any smell, but yeah, so quite a good little device actually. So wish we had these back home. So we're at Myeongdong, which is one of the night markets. What do we have for dinner?
Shawarma.
Shawarma. We happened to come across a halal street vendor, so we helped ourselves with some shawarma. And now we're having dessert.
It's just ice cream in a cone.
Ice cream in a really weird shaped cone, but tastes good.